Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Q&A ahead of blank game week 29. I'm just going to say this in advance, even by our standards, this has potential to be a chaotic stream because I'm currently awaiting a plumber to turn up. And if he does in the next 30, 40 minutes, then Sam is going to be running
flying solo.
She's already got the first comment on the screen, so I've given you access to the comments for the first time. So we've got like a Joey Tribbiani. How you doing?
You've given me the power. Like, if I want to, I can just go rogue.
I know, just go rogue. Just click a load of random things.
Clicking stuff. Normally, I'm not trusted with any of this tech stuff.
No.
But you know. No. Oh, look. Yeah, it must be delap time. See, look, this is exciting. I can see...
Yeah, this is why I don't give you access to this, because look, you look at the excitement you write. There's got to be order on these streams. All good, structured answering of questions. That's how it's got to be.
There might not be any order today.
Sting in the Tail mentions me on Yelena's vlog is peak FPL. Yeah, for anyone who's not aware, my rank is awful because, of course, I captain a certain Cole Palmer. Despite saying to you on the stream last week that I was definitely going to captain Salah and saying on Black Box I was definitely going to captain Salah, I changed my mind.
Do you know, it was one of those where... Why did we even start messaging in that group chat on Sunday afternoon?
Because you were probably laughing at me.
No, but before that, because I didn't know you'd captain Palmer, so something must have come up that had caused it to be a thing. And then we all did give you a bit of grief, and then I felt incredibly guilty.
I'm sure it was just a video of...
No, there must have been something. There must have been a catalyst for it. We wouldn't have just randomly started.
It was Yell stirring the pot, as is bricking it over this penalty is what she sent. And that then led to...
That's right, because I think I then was like, I don't understand why. Like, like, who cares? And then and then it transpired you had, and then we made Max record you a voice note.
It's got to be... I think it's got to be one of my lowest points in FPL.
It was horrible.
This weekend. It's just... Like, for Salah to score 2 penalties is one thing. Because he didn't deserve anything from that game. Again, another game where he didn't deserve anything. And then for Palmer to miss one as well... It was just, you can't write it, can you? I mean, both at home to bottom 2 teams, I just thought there wasn't much in it. And there was.
Oh, bless awful. Your heart. The thing is, I felt awful after I gave you some grief for it, because obviously we were watching the Spurs game and that was happening in the background, and I was like, Lee and I were finding it fairly entertaining because you and Yell, it was mostly Yells to be fair in the chat, that it was really funny.
Oh yeah, she was being both quite supportive but also really twisting the knife as well. Yeah, it's kind of what I'd expect from her, to be fair.
I got that impression, and then I said to Lee, actually I feel really bad because I was also really struggling with Spurs at that point, so I was like, actually it's taking my mind off how bad we are by just having a pop at you about what's going on in the Chelsea game.
I'm the punch bag, it's fine.
And then when Spurs got that penalty, I couldn't watch. And I was watching you, and then I watched Yells' video this morning, and I was watching you watch Cole Palmer's penalty. Had there been a video of me when Son had that penalty, I couldn't watch. I honestly couldn't watch. So I was sat in the chair, facing the wall, the TV behind me, and Evie came and sat behind me so that I could, I was completely blocked from view. And Lee was like, do you want me to tell you if they score? I was like, I'll know by the crowd. What the crowd will tell me. And then after that penalty went in, I was like, no, I feel bad. I can't have any more digs at us. And then I felt even worse when I watched the video and saw your little face.
It's been a weird week, hasn't it, in football in general? I mean, you had obviously the 2 penalties from Salah, and then them getting knocked out of the Champions League, which I don't think. Obviously PSG are a good team, but I don't think too many people were expecting PSG to go through. I think we were mostly thinking that. I mean, Liverpool have been so good in the Premier League. I thought they'd go through and be real contenders for the Champions League this year. You had Palmer missing the penalty. You had all the stuff that happened with Alvarez last night, and did he hit it twice and stuff like that. You had Son's last minute penalty. You had Pedro's last minute penalty for Brighton as well. Lots of penalties, lots of drama. None of it good. Well, Son's penalty was good. And to be fair, Pedro's penalty was good, but not FPL wise.
No, it's been a really weird week for football, actually, hasn't it? And obviously tonight continues because God knows what's going to happen with Spurs tonight.
Against me.
Yeah. I like you, I don't like them. They just stole your name. So yeah, we want to destroy. We're going to destroy ours tonight. The the football team that is. And then obviously, but
well, Solanke destroyed me earlier in the season, so you might as well go the full way and
let's let him do it again.
Yeah.
And then Manchester United with their weird circus tent new stadium that they're building.
Yeah.
What's that about? They need to get a win tonight, and obviously Chelsea as well. So it all feels quite.
There's a lot bubbling in there, and then obviously we're going into the blank game week where there's free hits being played. Some people are wildcarding. There's going to be wildcards played over the international break as well, and then it's going to be chip season, triple captains, assistant managers, bench boosts. Like this is it. We've all been waiting for game week 29 because that sense that was like not the end, but it's going to be a really crucial couple of weeks from now. So yeah, I guess we better take some questions. Wolfman 180. Afternoon, you two. Good afternoon, Wolfman. Palmer, Mateta, and Isak. There's going to be a lot of transfers this week, isn't there? With people trying to get put. So Palmer out, Mateta and Isak, Tavadio, Bruno, and Wood, and Haaland for a -4. There must be someone missing there, right? Oh, Trent. Trent, Palmer, Mateta, Isak, Tavadio, Bruno, Wood, and
that's
Haaland.
something we did mention, wasn't it? The Trent injury during the PSG game.
Yep.
That's another one. And Kanate. The League Cup final feels like it's just two teams with whoever they can field.
I know. No Gordon, no Hall anymore for Newcastle. I know.
Just if you're fit, you're playing. That's how the League Cup final feels like it is. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot to dissect. I mean, there's a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of questions about who to sell, who to bring in. So I think this is a good question because this covers a lot of like the key players that we're looking at. I mean, what do you think about selling Palmer? I guess that's the first place to start.
Right. So in principle, I don't.
my thoughts on it might be a little bit biased.
I've just realised I didn't turn my light on. I was like, why is it so dark in my room? I haven't got my light on. I don't hate selling Palmer, but if you can field 11 by not selling him, I don't really understand it because he's got a fixture. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are taking -4s to take Palmer out, and I'm there thinking, but he's got a fixture. Fix the problems.
How good is your team if you've already got 11?
Yeah.
And are needing to. I mean, I would just keep Palmer this week. I don't think I'd sell him for anyone.
No, I wouldn't. Bruno Fernandes is the conversation, but my issue here, right, is that unless you are planning to immediately wildcard in game week 30, then selling Mateta actually makes no sense.
Yeah.
Unless
And
you've got a
Isak.
plan straight away to bring him back. The same with Isak.
Yeah.
Even really with Palmer, like, all right, it's Arsenal this week, but then after that, you probably think about getting him back, no?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess if people are looking at 30, I imagine if you're going to get Haaland and Salah, it's very hard, I think, to build a decent team because you got to have the bench boost in mind. A lot of us got to have that in mind, right? So trying to build a team with Salah, Palmer, and Haaland is difficult. I guess the answer to that, a lot of people would say, is don't get Haaland, right? But wildcarding in 30, it's going to be hard to not get Haaland because for me that is it. That is the biggest differential you can have at home to Leicester. I'm probably going to be wildcarding over the international break. I'm probably going to bring in Haaland for 30.
Are you?
I think so, yeah. And that would mean dropping Palmer, who's got a fixture against Spurs. He's got 18 points against them earlier in the season.
He's got a great record against us. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but you can't have them all. And he is not looking right. I mean, for him to miss that penalty the way he did, has got to
but
show.
you know he's coming back to good against Spurs. You know it.
Well, if any, that is the fixture, isn't it? If you're gonna be rubbish and then suddenly be great again,
yeah,
have a little game, have a little cheeky game against Spurs.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Career rejuvenators.
Something like that. I find this all really hard because, yes, I think you're improving the team for game week 29, clearly. But then going into game week 30, Newcastle have got Brentford. I think you want Isak. Mateta has got Southampton. You definitely want him. He's had a rest. Like, I know he's also had 25 stitches, but they're not playing this weekend. So, like, full rest. And this is a midweek round. So, it's lovely, right? He gets a full rest over the international break. I know that they've got FA Cup still to play, but still, it's a nice period of time for them to have to rest up.
I'd go as far to say that if you're selling Trent, Palmer, Mateta, and Isak, surely you have to be wildcarding in 30.
You have to. I agree.
But you're probably losing a hell of a lot of value.
I agree.
On that. If you're bringing Mateta and Isak in, you've had them. Yeah, you could be losing 0.5, 0.6. on those moves.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is it's with all of this, it really does depend on what game week 30 looks like for you. If, like me, I am not planning to wildcard in 30, so I am going to sell Trent this week on the basis that, I don't particularly love the way that he's been playing anyway, and I'm going to use that money. I'm going to downgrade him significantly to a Nottingham Forest defender. And then I'm going to use that money that I've got available to upgrade 2 Palace players for game week 30, so that when I wildcard into 31, I can then focus on the rest of my team.
Have you still got Mateta?
No, I sold him because of the injury, but I also had no value in him because when I bought him in, it was at the time where nobody else was buying him because of the blank coming up. So it was like, well, I've got him and he's a bit of a differential for me, but nobody else is going to go there. So he just stayed static at the price point. So I was like, well, I'll sell him. I got Beto as a punt for the next couple of weeks with the plan that Beto would become Mateta again.
Who was it you were going
30.
on about last
Strand
week?
Larsen.
Strand Larsen. You didn't even get him in the end. Oh,
No, I got Beto instead.
typical.
I know. I didn't follow through as.
I mean, none of them got any points. I mean, this is another thing that's so amazing about last week is the fact that you're on a big red arrow. No offense, I'm on a bigger one.
That big.
So, it's 80k or something, isn't it? 80, 90k.
All right.
It's pretty. I'm saying everyone, but the majority of people got a red, right?
I know they did.
Because
yeah.
so few players actually returned last week.
I was like celebrating the fact that Raya got a save point.
Yeah, I know.
Like, come on! If that's what your game week has come to, that you're celebrating
I didn't have a single attacking or defensive return other than Salah's, and his returns cost me 200k in rank.
Wow! So I did have one other attacking return from Timber. That assist from Timber. That was all I had.
Yeah.
And a save point from Raya.
Okay, so looking at some of the players bringing in from, we're still on Wolfman, so we've been 15 minutes on this. Which of these players do you think are the most important? Like, what are the players this week that you'd be taking hits to bring in? Because these 4, I think, are 4 of the key players that people are looking at: Vardy, Bruno, Wood, and Haaland.
Wood. He would be my top priority.
Okay.
If you don't have Wood, he would be my top priority.
Okay.
After that, Bruno I love for game week 29. I think he's excellent for this week, but I don't love him in 30 against Forest. So
Forest away as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't love him for that, but I do really like him for this. I don't like Vardiol for 29, really. I think Brighton will get something. I'm
surprised to see him so popular. I guess people have got 30 in mind because then it's Leicester at home and you're buying him for a couple of weeks. But purely for 29, he's playing at centre back as well, isn't he? He's not the marauding left winger we saw last season or earlier this season.
Nope.
We score. I'm sure we score.
I'm 100% sure you score. Like, the players that are being listed here aren't really the players that. So for me this week, my priorities are a Nottingham Forest defender. If you don't have one, prioritise that, because equally going into game week 30, I think they still remain great. My other priority would be Bournemouth and investing in them because I like the fixture, and then they've got Ipswich next week. So a Bournemouth defender, a Kluivert, I would prioritise them over pretty much everyone here with the exception of Chris Wood.
Good comment from Blair, which is how I feel often on a Thursday afternoon. Notes that Kluivert has only returned in 2 home games this whole season. Interesting. Is that the anti?
What, he's
Gordon
better
from
away
last
from
year?
home.
Remember
He likes
Gordon?
to play away.
Likes to play away. Yeah, he's had a baby, so I hope not. But
He doesn't.
Gordon was home every game, wasn't he? And it looks like Kluivert. I mean, I haven't fact checked that. I'm going to assume that Blair is not lying to us. But yeah, it's interesting how those things happen. Some players seem to like playing away. Some players like playing home.
And both Kirkes and Kluivert, how they didn't get more points against Spurs last week, I will never know.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know how they didn't. I mean, I'm glad they didn't from a Spurs perspective and my FPL team perspective, but I don't know how they didn't.
Yeah. A few questions about, Niraj is here, Palmer or Salah to fund Haaland. Adrian says sell Palmer, for example. Tenzin says I've sold Palmer for Bruno. I think he's the second most sold player already this week. James C says if Palmer scored, no one would be worried about him. His stats are still good.
Yeah.
His stats are... He has 1 attacking return in his last 7 games, and his stats are better than Salah's, who has 13.
Yeah. I distracted myself because I went to look how many players have sold Bruno
Yeah,
for
it's a lot.
Palmer
Yeah,
for Bruno. It's like over 100,000. Yeah, it's a lot.
-4 to take Salah out for Haaland.
Absolutely. You couldn't pay me £1 million.
I'm just the messenger.
I
Don't
think
turn on
I
me.
was very clear last week about my feelings about selling Isak, and my feelings remain
my
the
plumber's
same.
here, Sam.
Okay,
You're taking over.
I will rant. Oh, guys. Wish me luck, everybody. Goodbye, Az. Come back. Don't leave forever. Come back. All right, so let's talk about Salah. For me, I wouldn't be selling Salah. So in my team right now, I would lose 0.6 million if I was to sell Salah for anybody else. And I know full well that I have to bring him straight back in again. So I think the situation maybe is a little bit different if Liverpool stay in the FA Cup, if Liverpool stay in the Champions League. But now that they're out of both of those two things, there's no risk of rotation with him. He's going to play every single minute of every single match between now and the end of the season after the League Cup final. In the Premier League, his aim is going to be to break all of the records. He's already broke the FPL record. He'll want the golden boot. He'll want all the records and the accolation that come with what might happen with him over the next few weeks. So for me, Salah is a non-negotiable for the rest of the season. And therefore, unless you got him super late and you've only got like 0.1 or 0.2 of value in him, I can't see any reason to take him out, even for Haaland, because over the last few months, nobody's been investing in Manchester City. And there's a reason for that. They haven't exactly been performing well. And I know that over the last few weeks, there's only been a couple of times that Haaland's blanked. However, he's not exactly ripping up trees. You know, he's returning like one attacking return in each fixture. And I do genuinely think that Brighton will do well against them this week. Now, obviously, heading into game week 30, it's a different kettle of fish because you've got the game against Leicester where you would expect Haaland to do well. But for me, I would not be taking, I certainly wouldn't be taking a -4 to do it because I think you're going to want him straight back in. Hold up, right, let's see if I can change this because I think James is right. If I click this, does it work? Yes. I think James is right. I think that's exactly it, isn't it? You would expect that Salah then goes on a mission until the league is won. So I wouldn't be selling Salah for Haaland at all. And I think for me, he's just a hold. James, I've no idea if the plumber will be on Black Box. I would hope that the plumber will get things fixed and Az will be back shortly. But I guess we'll find out. Colm, yeah, I agree. I think Saka coming back will make things more interesting. I think we are Hello? He's returned.
I'm back.
Az!
I'm back.
You're back. I didn't break anything, Az.
Things are just working. I expected to come back and somehow my computer's on fire.
No, I didn't break anything, and I put new comments on the screen. Are you proud of me?
I'm very proud of you. Yes, well done. The plumber's in. He is.
Okay.
He is fixing things as we speak. If a random man appears in the background, I'm probably not being murdered unless you see him with a big like wrench above my head, and then just give me a shout.
You know what? While I was thinking about when you went away, I was thinking about that story that Yells tells about the guy that came to fix the front door,
the sexy Harry Kane man.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I wonder if the plumber is going to be some sort of sexy plumber man.
She still talks about him. He fixed the front door with like he got his drill out and like one-handed like fixed the door. And I think she was just sitting there with some Chris just like
like the Diet Coke ads in the past.
Yeah.
Is the plumber equally attractive?
I don't know. He probably can't hear me, but no, he's not.
Oh, that's sad.
He's no sexy draw man. No. Right,
let's move on. I was about to talk about Saka coming back because I basically said I wouldn't sell Salah for Haaland, and then Colm had said that we need Saka to come back to make it more interesting because at the minute it does feel like, all right, well, we're just going to have Salah, and now he's out of the Champions League. He's not going to be rotated. He's going to just play every minute of every game, and you're going to have him. So Saka coming back into the conversation would make it more interesting in those midfielder slots because then it wouldn't be just like, well, I'll keep Palmer, even though he's been terrible. I'll keep him because I've got the budget to do it, which is kind of where I feel like we've all been lately.
Yep. Be good if he's back. I mean, we're not really considering Sonar. We're not really considering Foden. If we are selling Palmer, and I mean, you could be in a position where you don't really want Haaland because he's not exactly been great. Mm-hmm. You might not really want Palmer. Where's your money going if you've only got Salah and say Trent's out for a bit too? we need Saka back, I think, because he for people like me and arguably you, down in the 500k and below mark, we need someone like Saka.
We need a hero.
We need a hero. Exactly.
I'm holding out for one.
I'm holding out for the little Saka to be my hero. But he could be, right, because if I mean, I was hoping that Liverpool progressed, because I know we talked about selling Salah last week and all of that, but maybe if selling him was too far, I do think there's opportunity to not captain him as much between now and the end of the season, given that Haaland's got some good fixtures. If Liverpool had gone deep into Europe, if Saka was coming back, all this is if and buts, because Liverpool are knocked out, and I think it's now going to be harder to go against Salah because we're expecting him to play pretty much every game now.
Yeah.
Is he going to get a rest? It's very unlikely.
No.
Isn't it?
What are you resting? What are you resting
him for? I know.
And I think, you know, there was a comment in the chat that I was going to go to next, but I can't see it now. About here it is. Look, watch as I do it. There you go. Changed it. About why keep him if you think other people are better captains. And I sort of understand this logic in that between now and the end of the season, how many of the fixtures has Salah genuinely got the best fixture of the game week? Because there are other matches where, you know, Isak's going to have a double game week. You're going to have other players with double game weeks. You've got other players that have got the fixtures against Southampton or Leicester at times when maybe Liverpool have got a more difficult one. But for me, that's not a reason not to own Salah. That's just a reason to kill your rank. Like, just because you're going to captain somebody else doesn't mean you wouldn't have Salah in your team at all. Like, if you're going to go against the Salah captaincy, then at least have him in your team. Like,
well, this week was a good example, right? Because
imagine if you hadn't had him at all.
Well, I went from 380 to 640 and didn't have him. I mean, that arguably it was a mad week because, again, I didn't have any other returns in my team. But if I hadn't had him at all, I'd probably be a million.
You might not be here if you hadn't had him at all.
I don't think I would be here. And I mean, this did happen. I mean, I didn't own him at all when he got the 2 goals against Southampton. I don't learn from my mistakes, basically. I didn't have him for that. I went for Haaland captain. He blanked. And then he's played Southampton again. And my captain blanked again. It's not... Oh, God, this game is... testing at times, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is absolutely testing. But I think he is the best player in the game. He is the most informed player, playing for the team that are going to go on to win the league with nothing else to think about other than breaking records left, right and centre. Like, for me, he's an absolute hold. He won't go anywhere. Some weeks I will captain him. On the doubles, I won't. And if somebody else has got an amazing fixture and they're in great form, then yeah, sure, I'll go there instead. But you can...
Yeah, I probably wasn't ever going to sell him, but I think we could have had a conversation about it like we did last week. I mean, was it a conversation? It's mostly just mocking me for even suggesting it, but we could have had some discourse around it. I don't think you can now. No. I think it's really, really hard to suggest selling him at this point. So, yeah. Other questions. -8. I mean, hits in general. I mean, do you think we're going to have a game week 29 like we had last year? Or
I hope not.
Or do you think there's going to be some points?
I honestly think I've got post-traumatic stress from that game week last year. Like, when just everything went wrong, didn't it? And it was my blimmin' team as well. It was Spurs that would all...
Yeah, lost to Fulham. Yeah.
It was... Yeah, we did. We cursed by Fulham as well. Oh, good. We've got to play them at the weekend.
We're not anymore. We finally beat them. We've broken the curse.
Maybe we will as well. Maybe we'll be all right. Maybe this is the time, This is the time where the Q&A Fulham problems... Do you want my honest opinion about hits?
No, I'd like your fake opinion.
Okay, I'll give you that then. Take all of them, take all the hits. My opinion is that if you can get into this game week with 10 or 11 players without taking a hit, I think you should. Because the reality is that a lot of people are going to be taking hits. You're going to get a leap just by not taking one. Don't you think?
It depends who it's for. Because I mean, say you've got Salah, Isak, and Mateta.
Yeah.
Right? You would have to sell one of those, potentially, to get, if you're thinking of taking hits. They're 3 big players who you could downgrade to, cheaper players, but with a game. But you're going to be losing the value on them. You're going to be taking a hit. They have to perform, really, because otherwise you're going to be bringing them back in pretty sharpish next week. I mean, there's other players as well, isn't there? Like Munoz, you could have Munoz as well. Mm-hmm. who obviously hasn't got the game. You could have. I'm running out of players. Who else could you have?
Morgan Rogers,
Well,
Ollie Watkins.
yeah, exactly. Villa players. Watkins, Rogers. There's like. Yeah, it becomes tricky to know which ones are the sells and which ones are the keeps. I think Villa players.
Villa, I think you can sell.
Rogers is a sell for me.
And Watkins is for me as well.
Yeah, I think Watkins is too. Yeah.
I think if I had a Villa player, I'd sell.
Yeah.
If I had a Palace player, I wouldn't. Not this week. So last week when I sold Mateta, it was a little bit different because I had 2 game weeks to get through. I had multiple flags everywhere. And I wasn't entirely sure when he was going to be back because we weren't it wasn't all confirmed that he was going to be back for the game in game week 30 and, you know, all of that jazz. So in my head, I was like, okay, well, it makes sense now. And I don't have any value in him and I can easily give myself a route back. So it's fine. But this week, if you're going to sell Mateta or Munoz or somebody like that, you absolutely want them again next week. So you will then have to use another transfer to get this. If you're taking -4 to take them out this week, then next week your transfer is bringing them back in. The player that you bring in on that -4, you have to be absolutely certain that they're going to get a return because otherwise you're taking a -4 for nothing because you're doing it, reversing it again the week after.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, unless you're thinking of wildcarding in 30, and then it's a slightly different conversation because then you're taking a -2 for 1 week and then planning on, you know, getting rid next week. And again, I mean, if they're upgrades, I mean, if you're doing Watkins to Wood for a hit, I don't hate that because then you've got the opportunity for Wood to get you points when Watkins isn't.
Watkins to Wood, I think, is perfect for a hit.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's Palace players out for a hit and even Newcastle players out for a hit or even Salah out for hits, which is what I'm seeing a lot of. Like, to me, that just doesn't make any sense because next week you're reversing that and you're going to have to pay more for most of them.
Yeah. Fahad for the super chat. Thank you very much. Trent, Palmer and Isak to Haaland, Semenyo and Vardiol for a -4. So this is a good example, isn't it? Trent, Palmer and Isak. I mean, they are 3 big players for Haaland, Semenyo and Guardiola. Let's assume no wildcard next week. So
I'd hold Isak and just make 2 transfers because you've clearly got 2 frees.
So you do Trent and Vardiol. Selling Palmer.
I don't know if I'd go Semenyo. I think if I was going to do this, Trent to Gavardiol, yeah, okay. It's a fixture against Brighton this week. You're hoping for an attacking return because I don't think there's a clean sheet. And then next week you've got the great fixture against Leicester. So all right, fine. I'm all right with that. And plus, we don't know how severe that Trent problem is yet, do we? So could keep him out, and we'll see. Plus, Conor Bradley's coming back as well, so might get some rotation around his position anyway. Maybe, particularly if he doesn't sign a new contract and they're looking at, you know, thinking about the new season. Palmer to Semenyo. I think
is there anyone better? Anyone better at
Bruno
5-7
this week? You got money though. Palmer down. Do you go anywhere?
Well, yeah, I mean that's if you don't do the Haaland. That's if you don't do the Haaland move.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sell Isak for Haaland this week. I would just do the 2 transfers.
Even if you still had 10. We don't know the rest of the team.
No, but I just think that Isak you're going to want back in again after the cup final. Game week 30.
Trent out is an easy move. I think I don't think it matters what situation you're in. I think Trent.
That's what I'm doing this week. I'm selling.
Yeah, Trent. So am I. Yeah, so am I. I think a lot of people are. Well, I'm in a slightly different position because I'm doing it for 1 week.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking at. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at Aina obviously because I'd have the money to do Aina. He's the top Forest defender of choice. But I'm I'm also looking at United.
Oh, for God's sake.
I know.
What, Dallo?
I'm looking at De Ligt.
Oh, what?
So Leicester have conceded the most headers in the league by a long... I think it's 92 compared to like 70 of the second worst team for conceding headers. They've also conceded the second most chances from set pieces. I reckon there's a Bruno to De Ligt double up there.
I don't actually know if I've got any words for this. De Ligt.
1 week only.
I sort of understand Dallo. I could get on board with. I think just about.
Don't buy United defender, please, says Roberto. Yeah, probably pretty good advice.
I am going Trent to a Forest.
Leicester haven't scored in like 8 games though.
But they will. Vardy probably have a party. I am going to go Trent to a Forest defender. I haven't yet decided which one, because the logical thing here, because money doesn't matter.
Yep.
Because I'm wildcarding 31 anyway. As long as I leave enough money to go Beto back to Mateta next week, which is the plan, money doesn't matter. So any Forest defender is fine. The logical thing to do is to get Aina.
Yeah.
But I want Williams.
Or Neko. Well, yeah. The problem with Williams, and because I was talking to Mark about this last week, is that he can't play that Villa game. So Mark is pretty confident that he's going to be benched. He can play the Villa game. Moreno can't. So it's going to be 3 games in a week for Moreno and the FA Cup, because he physically can't get rested in that Villa game. So Mark thinks the rest he's going to have could be against United after the international break, because he's not going to get rested in the cup. He then plays Man U, and then he plays Villa, where he can't be rested because Moreno's there.
Because of the loan. Oh, that's upset me.
because they can't really lose. They can't lose Moreno for that Villa game, because they haven't got any other left back. I mean, they could move Aina over, but then they're very weak on the right. Because it's a tight turnaround. It's Tuesday to Saturday for Man U, Villa, and the FA Cup going for. I don't know. That's what Mark said.
Man U, hang on. So he thinks he'll get rested for the United game.
Yeah. Because I mean, do you think like the only other thing that can happen is Williams plays all 3 games that week? He plays in the FA Cup, he then plays Manchester United, and then he plays Villa. But if he gets injured in the Man United game, they don't have anyone that can play in the Villa game at left back, because Moreno can't play.
But they have been so much better since he's been playing. And if they want to take the league seriously, then can they afford to be resting? Like, I'm not suggesting they're trying to win the league, but if they want Champions League spots, can they afford to be resting him?
I mean, he's played every game since game week 14.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I mean. And then
they lost that game 3-0 to City. It was their worst performance I think they've had in months. I don't know. I'm just telling you that Mark thinks he's going to. When I asked Mark which Forest defender he would buy if he was buying this week or next, he said he would 100% pay the extra and get Milenkovic. 100%.
Milenkovic? He's not even come into my conversation.
Well, you're not going to get Murillo, are you? You're going to get Milenkovic over Murillo, and you're not going to pay 5-4 or whatever it is for Aina.
Well, I might. Why not?
It's a lot of money for him. Is he that much better than Milenkovic? It doesn't seem to get that many attacking returns.
No, well, that's why I want Williams.
Nuisa, Milenkovic, James C. Just get Milenkovic.
I don't want Milenkovic.
Don't tell that to Yale. She loves him. Well, she keeps benching him. Danny B. Milenkovic is a beast on set pieces.
But I wanted Williams.
Murillo, 15-pointer this week, says Nikolai.
Well, yeah, that's inevitable because you just slagged him off.
Yeah. I haven't slagged him off. I just said you've not. I wouldn't pick him over Milenkovic. Murillo's got less threat, right, from set pieces.
Well, I'm getting a Forest defender anyway. The only other thing I'm getting a Forest defender. I can't be having another week with no Forest. They hurt. It's game week 29 and I still haven't had a Forest defender. None of them.
I've had one, Sam.
Which
I had
one?
Alex Moreno.
Oh yes, you did.
God,
he might come good for you.
I don't know why people listen to anything I say on these Q&As. I was going to get Aina as well. I was 0.1 off getting Aina. And I was like, I'll get Moreno. He's good. I like Moreno. He did well for me when he was at Villa. Lost his place. Did absolutely terribly as well. Absolutely useless. Is wildcarding this week madness, says Gary? Who do you get? I had to look at... I'm putting a wildcard team together for Black Box tonight. I find it so difficult. Because, like, how do you pick who to go for when we don't know the results of those cup games?
I wouldn't wildcard this week.
I just don't see it at all.
You have to take a gamble.
You have to predict who's going to go through in those games, and like Forest Brighton is so close to call. Bournemouth City is so close to call. There's going to be some surprises.
Fulham Palace. I think Fulham Palace is hard.
I know.
The only one I think you could realistically say I'll gamble on is Villa.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you wildcard this week, you can't get a lot of the players that you're going to want. Like 32 is the double, so you're going to want Mateta, Munoz, Eze, Isak, a Newcastle defender. You can't really pick any of them if you're wildcarding this week because they haven't got a game.
No.
I don't get it. I literally don't get it. I honestly don't know who I would pick if I was wildcarding this week.
I wouldn't.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
Oh, goodbye. Here we go again. Sam is taking over forever. Jake's gone mad and he didn't mute himself or shut the door. Anyway, we'll carry on. I would not wildcard. I think if you didn't mute himself, and I don't know how to do that. I think wildcarding this week is just chaos. I think you're gonna have to take some gambles and some risks. And as I said, I don't think you've set yourself up very well for game week 32 in that case either, because you can't go for the players that are definitely doubling already in 32. So yeah, I think no, it's a no for me. I think it's a no from Az as well. Let's do this one. So would you do Konate to Kirkes for a -4 so you can field 11 players? Now, this one I actually would do because Kirkes has all of the attacking threat as well. Plus, and I'm really sorry, I can't shut up Az in the background, so it's really noisy. Oh, he's coming back. I would do this because it helps you this week. And also Kirkes remains a good pick for the weeks that follow as well. So this one I actually think is a decent -4 because it puts you in a good position. Here he is. Did you have to be so damn noisy?
All fixed. The stream couldn't hear it. Only you.
Oh, well, they must think I'm mad then because I was like, shut up. I can't concentrate on anything.
What was happening?
So loud.
The dog?
The dog, you, the plumber, the doors.
The stream won't have heard a thing because I muted myself on OBS, but not on our...
He was so loud, guys. It was like an elephant herd appeared in his house.
Don't know what you're talking about.
The dog was barking. The doors were opening and closing.
We could hear it. How could you hear it? I was muted.
I could hear you. It was very loud. I carried on. I just carry on.
Feel clean. I thought Sam just hears Az's voice in the head at all times. That's also
true.
Yeah.
And in my dreams as well.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't, though, to be fair?
Maybe else.
Probably not. She just got the sexy hurricane plumber just in and out fixing doors.
Oh, I love that. And Ben Me. She loves Ben Me.
People say they can hear it. I don't understand that.
It was really loud.
But I muted my mic on OBS.
I don't know. All I know is that I struggled to concentrate this time. Last time you were muted and everything was fine. I couldn't hear you. They couldn't hear you. It was all good. This time it was like a whole new world was going on in my head and I didn't know what to do.
I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen back to that.
Yeah,
some people could hear it and some couldn't. What? I couldn't hear anything. SPL Clean. Thank you.
Unless they could hear. Could they hear through me? No, shouldn't have been able to because I
don't think people could hear. I think people might have heard at the start, like because he knocked on the door. That's what set Jake off.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well,
Chris, we heard everything.
Not everything, Chris. Some things are private. Yeah.
It's the plumber bringing in Haaland.
Ask him. Chase him down the street. We were talking about Konate to Kirkhead. I'll put it back on the screen. Can I put it back on the screen? How do I do that? Click on it. There we go.
Nice.
That's what we were talking about. I was saying I would do this because I think if you do this, you set yourself up for game week 30 as well. So yeah. I'd be happy to do it. And Konate is not a player that I would necessarily want back in either because we saw him go off, didn't we, at the end of that game? And he's got no attacking threat. And Liverpool do like to leak a clean sheet. So I would do this for a -4.
Yeah, I mean, Konate is tempting. I think as well, given they're out of the Champions League. I had a bit more worries that maybe Konsa would play a few games or something towards like the end of the season. But I think that's, I don't know, but when they've wrapped up the league, you just don't really know, do you? They could play anyone. Once they've got that title secured, God knows who they're going to put out. I mean, we saw it with City, didn't we, a few years ago? Like week to week, it was just like the most
Yeah,
random
but they
team
were in
selections.
other things as well, though, weren't they? Whereas Liverpool weren't going to be in anything.
Yeah,
so there's
true.
just going to be that. And the only person or people maybe that might be at risk of that are the ones that have got no contracts. Now, Salah, you're clearly not going to drop, but maybe Trent. Like, if the rumours are true and Van Dijk and Salah have actually signed extensions and it's just Trent that hasn't, and that's why they haven't announced it yet.
I haven't seen any of those rumours.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
that the rumours going around?
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumours. Obviously, I listen to some Liverpool stuff quite a bit, and there's been some rumours that Salah and Virgil have already signed extensions, but they don't want to make Trent look terrible because he's still in conversation, so he's not. They've not announced it.
Do you want to know my predictions?
What? They all leave?
Trent off.
Yeah.
Van Dijk stays.
Yeah.
Salah off.
No, I think you're wrong.
I think they would have tied Salah down by now.
I think they have tied Salah down. I think Salah and Virgil stay and Trent goes.
I think he's asking rightly for like 500k a year, and
he's worth it a year.
He's
worth it for a week.
Sorry, a week. But I don't think they want to pay it. I think they want to take the gamble and bring in some new younger blood. It's just absolutely insane that he hasn't signed a new contract yet. Like it's who are you going to get that's going to get anywhere near the numbers he's putting in? There's not anyone in the world.
So I think Trent is at risk with Conor Bradley at the end of the season of being rotated for sure. Konate, fine, but I think he'll play. But the problem I have with the Liverpool defence is they do leak. So in my opinion, Kirkers is an upgrade on this for the remainder. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, sorry, I did get sidetracked talking about contracts. I do agree. I think Konate to Kirkers is a good move. Yeah, I'm with you. FPL Cycle says Jake's looking the camera during Yellen's blog when Power missed the penalty was cold. Yeah, it's how we all felt. It's a good one. China 1000, sell Dango or pray for a cameo.
You will get a cameo. You will. Evan Nilsson's not. He'll do 70, and you'll get 20 minutes.
Is that enough?
Well, it goes back to the hit question, doesn't it? So if you can do it, if the rest of your team's set up and you can do Dango out for nothing, do Dango out. No, I haven't got a Bournemouth attacker at all.
Why have I got Dango?
I don't know, as only you can ask that. If it makes you feel better, Max has got Dango too.
It doesn't.
You will.
No, it does actually. Because at least he can't have a go at me about it.
Yeah, he can't have a go at you about that because he did it himself. I like the fact that my 11-year-old just regularly has a go at you all the time.
Too big for his boots, that kid.
Yeah. Does like a fajita though with you.
It's true, yeah.
Does enjoy swapping some Pokemon cards with you, so
Yeah.
Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Gives with one hand, takes with the other. I would do Dango out if it was for free. If you've got masses of other problems, though, I just accept that you get Dango off the bench and maybe you get something at the end of the game, or he gets a 1-point cameo. Like, I kind of feel like this week is one of those weeks, like the last time we had this last year, where you could massively overthink this and just start taking -4s, and then they don't come back.
The thing is, I think, like, looking at Dango's price and things, I mean, who are you going to get? You're probably going to end up getting...
Let's have a look.
Well, you're probably going to end up getting like an Elanga or a Hudson-Odoi, or you're going to find a bit extra for a Clivert. Do you think they're worth a hit?
Well, hang on. How much is Dango?
I'm not considering a -4 to take Dango out for this week. I can see why you would, but
would you do it for free?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, any of the players I just mentioned are better than Dango this week for free.
Where is Dango? How much is he?
It's like 5'1", 5'2".
Is that what he is? Oh yeah, 5'1".
I got a good question to finish the stream off as well.
Damsgaard. Is there anyone else? Damsgaard. Yeah, you've got to have some money in the bank as well, haven't you?
Minte.
Yeah, Minte.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hudson-Odoi I like. I think he could be a good one.
Yeah. Don't mind that.
Don't mind that.
No.
But for a hit, like he needs 5 points, right?
Yeah.
He needs to get something
to break even.
He could do it, but Dango could come on and score. I don't know. I think for a hit, it's not worth it. But if for free, I think Hudson-Odoi, in and around the same price, I think Hudson-Odoi would probably be my pick.
Yeah, all right, I'll go with you on that one.
And the final question of this stream, we've kind of done this already, but rank the top 3. So I'm guessing your top one is going to be your captain this week, who I'm guessing, I'm going to go on a wild limb here and say it's probably going to be Chris Wood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would your...
He makes me happy, Chris Wood.
Who would your next 2 be?
To own for this week?
Yeah. If you were free hitting 3 players.
Clivert.
Yep.
Bruno.
In that order, Wood, Clivert, Bruno.
Probably put Bruno just ahead of Clivert for 1 week, but Clivert I prefer. But Bruno's like, he's basically just a one-night stand.
That's what I'm getting him in for.
I want him in and out. Kick him out in the morning.
I'm captain again, I think. So
I just realised how bad that sounded.
Yeah, that was quite a bad one. Sam, we were so close. We were so close to making it to the end without some absolute.
As I didn't mean it. I did not mean it. I've gone so red.
You've gone as red as the Q&A.
Because I didn't mean. I didn't mean it like that. And I heard it. I said it, and then I didn't say anything, and then I heard it back in my head, and I thought, oh God, why have you said that? That is.
I thought Wood would lead us down this avenue, not Bruno. Yeah, fair. Oh dear.
God. Anyway, sorry guys. Apologies for all of that.
I've got some comments, but none of them are PG rated, so I'm gonna absolutely. Oh my God! I'm sorry, James C's comment. One night bland. That is. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, he could easily fire some blanks as well, couldn't he? Bless him.
I'd go the same 3, but different order.
Well, who are you putting first?
I'm putting Bruno first. That set piece weakness that Leicester have got, I think, is suited to Bruno. Wood next, and then Clivert.
I fear you've broken Chris Wood.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I should have brought him in. I'll break Bruno next. He's been on a great run. I broke Bowen.
Yeah.
Broke Dango. Broke Palmer.
But if you're selling all these players now, that's good for the rest of us.
Oh, I know. Would Clivert, Barker. All right, James C. You've had a couple of good little comments. We've all had a laugh. You don't need to bring Barker into this. He's done nothing to deserve this.
You broke him as well. He had to leave the country because of you.
Yeah, twice. He's in France now. Oh, excellent. Right, we're going to end. I'm going to see the damage my plumber's done. You gymming? You gymming tonight?
Yes. And then I'm going to wash my mouth out with soap.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I went to the gym this morning. I'm now taking my children to
bloody hell
to a gym class tonight. I've got another 5 to do before I go on holiday.
Bloody
5
hell.
classes.
Well, good luck. I am not going to the gym tonight because I have got to set up a black box in 2 hours.
Does the plumber come into that?
I hope not. He's caused enough damage today. Lovely stuff. Right, Sam, thank you. We'll be back next week. I think we're aiming to do Friday next week when you're back from your holidays.
Yes. You're gonna have to. You wait for me to get back, and then I'll be highly jet lagged, and God knows only what I'm gonna say.
Oh God, so I know. Yeah, definitely tune in for that one.
I think we're doing some team. We're gonna do some team. What am I trying to say? That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, and team struck like team surgery,
including mine as well, because I
yours.
I will 99% I think be wildcarding next week.
Yeah, keep an eye out for the social media tweet about it, and send us your team, and then we'll have a look at them, and obviously we'll look at some from the chat as well. But
yeah. Lovely. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks for bearing with me as I've been in and out of the room. I don't know how much of Jake you heard, but if it was a lot, like Sam did, then I can only apologise. If not, then maybe you wanted to hear more of Jake. So he's become a bit of a celebrity over the last few weeks. So
deserved.
Oh, deserved. Yeah. Good. Good luck at Gameweek 29, and Sam and I will be back next week. See you later all.
Bye guys.